everybody, I'm Elena Yee. I'm here with Justin Rubio, and we just got back from Google I/O's keynote. Google I/O is a developer conference that Google puts on every year. They talk about generally updates to the Android operating system, plus any new projects they're working on. I mean, this is where we've heard about things like Android Wear, Project Aura, some things that they kind of enter the radar and then disappear forever.
Yeah, some stuff.
Yeah, sometimes they come back. So this year we had a few things that were actually pretty exciting, even though it was a pretty quiet keynote in terms of news overall.
Yeah, nothing too big. A few things that were expected, like we heard about the next version of Android, which is Android M.
Right, the preview is going to be out for developers.
Yeah, it's not as crazy as it was last time when they introduced Lollipop, but still a few changes in there.
Yeah, the focus this time, they kept saying like the core experience. So it sounds like they're doing more cleanup with this version than major overhaul, since they did that last version.
Yeah.
Yeah, so honestly, it wasn't a surprise because there have been rumors about it, but one of the things that I thought was actually pretty exciting was the fact that Google Photos has now been split off from Google+. It's its own standalone service, and it's now actually compatible with iOS in addition to Android and a web-based interface. And on top of that, you can back up, it's a backup service for all your photos and videos on your phone, but now it's unlimited storage.
Right.
And it's for high-res stuff. So that's 16 megapixels for photos and 1080p video.
And it's free.
And it's free.
Because before, even when it was connected to like your Google account, you can get more space, but you'd have to pay extra for it.
Right.
So this is just way better than a lot of the other competition. I mean, there is a size restriction, but it's meant to back up what you take on your phone.
Right.
Most people are taking under 16 megapixel photos.
Yeah, at this point, yeah. In the future, maybe not so much. But for now, it's great. I won't be hitting, that 5 gig cap on iCloud.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I mean, that was really great to hear, just because a lot of companies are competing with cloud services now. So it's nice to see them separate that. And plus, nobody really likes caring about their Google Plus.
And it also has some great organizational features too. You can sort not just by date, but by people, like individuals, like places, and also things, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, which is just the text from the pictures. So even if it's, they showed the detection of a person, and they were able to get them by actually age range. So it showed somebody as like a kid, and was able to detect the same person as a baby, which is wild if you think about it.
Yeah, because so much change happens.
Right.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool. I know you really liked the VR updates for Google Cardboard.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting. We didn't really know what they would do with Google Cardboard, which was just like a housing unit for a phone to be a VR headset. This time they went above that. They announced Jump, which essentially they want people to take a VR video of their own. So they created like a housing rig that fits 16 cameras. And then they created software and hardware to process it so it all fits together. They'll seamlessly put all the images together, they'll create the depth, and then they're also offering a service to share it all with that many of us know, and that's YouTube, which will be crazy because everybody has access to that. I mean, it's kind of wild that they went from something so simple as a cardboard headset to making it so that everybody can not only watch VR, but can make VR too.
Yeah, but they're still keeping Google Cardboard really simple. In fact, they streamlined it so that this year, when they hand out the samples, it's only supposed to take 3 steps to assemble it.
Yeah.
Instead of, I think last year was like 12.
Yeah, they improved a cardboard project, which is crazy.
Right, so they're still keeping that pretty simple.
Yeah.
While making it more accessible in general.
Right.
Which is pretty neat.
Yeah.
But for me, the biggest thing that I thought was exciting, which is going to sound interesting because every time I've recounted it in the office, people kind of look at me like, what? Like, how is that interesting? But it's the updates to Google Now.
Right.
So for the Android M developer build, there's a feature called Now on Tap. And this basically takes Google Now and supercharges its ability to just basically offer you really helpful reminders and information in general based on what kind of information you're getting on your smartphone. So the first example they showed us was there was a song by Skrillex playing
in a Spotify app.
In a Spotify app, and they said, "Okay, Google," to bring up the voice, command, and said, "What is his real name?" And just based on that one question, even though it's a general pronoun, the answer came back. His real name is, and just gave all the basic information.
It was able to look at the question and then look at what app you're looking at, and it put those two together to create the answer for you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's wild how it does that. They also showed it with a web page about Hugh Laurie, right? They just tapped on his name, on his first name, and it pulled up, and they held on the home button, and it pulled up all relevant information on him, even though it was just one name from it, but it was able to tell what website you were looking at.
Yeah. Another application they showed of it was, in text messages. The presenter's husband had sent her 2 text messages, one asking if this particular restaurant was okay for dinner, and the next one after that was, hey, can you also pick up the dry cleaning? I didn't have a chance to get to it today. Long pressing on the home button brought up 2 Google Now cards. The first one was about the restaurant, so it had ratings information, options to pull up calling the restaurant, navigating to the restaurant, Yelp, and also OpenTable to make reservations.
Right.
And then the second card said, hey, would you like to add a reminder to pick up the dry cleaning?
Yeah, and that was all without actually asking the phone to do any of that for you.
Yeah. So it seems like if you're willing, if you can put it out of your mind, any privacy concerns, this is a really cool feature, and it can really simplify, trying to keep track of everything, really getting that sense of a personal assistant. But you also have to then be okay with Google knowing all the ins and outs of
that's kind of how the Google
services
services work. The more that you let them do, the better it gets, which I'm okay with.
Yeah.
I'm okay with.
What would you like to see it do for you?
I don't know, make food for me. I think that's just the next step.
Maybe we'll get there at some point, right?
Yeah.
All this machine learning and deep thinking that they keep talking about with AI will eventually be able to just do like the replicator thing.
And then it'll get scary.
Then it'll get really scary.
Yeah.
Well, that pretty much wraps up what we thought was the most exciting out of Google I/O. Definitely let us know what you thought. For all things related to Android, Google, and wireless, you're in the right place, IGN.com.